Okay, sorry everybody. I was trying to grab my last bit of supplies before we get started here. So, the, most of you know me who are tuning in, but I'm Christina Taylor, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from North Canton, Ohio. I kind of have to say that on all my videos, so I'm just, getting those official things out of the way. So, today's video, I'm going to share with you these three projects. And if you had a kit for them, you should have gotten the visuals sent with them. So you'll have those to refer to as well as me going through and taking you through the projects on this video. This is a copy of our current catalog. If you do not have a copy and you would like one, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to connect with you on that. And it's got our catalog this year has a very different feel. Those of you who have it already have kind of shared your thoughts, both good, bad, and different, all the things, because it is a very different catalog. So these are the projects that we're going to be making today. So I'm going to take you through those step by step. And if you are wanting to do any online shopping, anything that you see used in today's projects, you can visit my online store at stampingyoucrazy.stampinup.net. This is my current host's code. When you enter that in with your order, it tells me that you would like the pre-card kits that I give away each month for using that hostess code with your online order. If you don't feel like ordering online yourself, you can always email me your order directly and I can connect it to this host code so that you can still get that month's card kit. So obviously, if you are watching this on YouTube, so you know that my YouTube channel is Stamp Me Crazy. Well, Christina Taylor, Stamp Me Crazy. And then you can also find me on Facebook, Stamp Me Crazy. And I'm trying to do better on actually updating that page. I'm not quite as on top of that as I should be. So, life happens. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. The first project that I'm sharing with you, I'm going to show it to you in the catalog. And there it is. Okay. So the first project that I'm sharing with you is featuring the Thoughtful Journey stamp set and dies and designer series paper. This is on page 46 and 47 of the new catalog. It's a beautiful suite of products. And I actually currently have I've got ink on my fingers, just noticed that. I have a current product-based catalog, oh my goodness, product-based bundle that is combined with a kit featuring the Thoughtful Journey products. So you're getting half a pack of the specialty paper, half a pack of the designer paper, the stamp set and the dies, and the class, which includes all the supplies to make the projects with these things. And that class would originally retail for, I think, like 112, 115 with everything combined and the shipping and tax and all that. And I'm offering it for $85, and that includes everything that I had mentioned. So if you have interest in that, please let me know by the end of the month and I will get those supplies ordered for you. And then that class is a virtual class online. So I will send you the video link and you will watch it much like today. And I will take you through all the projects and you can do them from the comfort of your own home. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So in this first project, we're using the basic white or the white craft pad and Blackberry Bliss ink, and then the Baker's Twine Essential Pack. We're also using the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set and the Thoughtful Wishes dies, which you take out the ones that I used. So these are the ones I did not use. These are the ones that I did use in the kits. And I'll show you that in just a moment. And then we're also using the Fern embossing folder. It's a 3D embossing folder. If you have a kit, you should have that embossed for you in the kit. And then, of course, the designer series paper. I will take that out and just kind of, we'll do, we'll do a little bit of a, I don't know how best to look at this. They're featured in the catalog, but this will give you a closer look at some of them. So you've got all these patterns. And as you can see, they're super pretty. Just that one goes with that one. Just so pretty. All these different colors and textures. And I just dropped a bottle of glue on the floor. I don't know where it went. There it is. I really want to roll my chair over that. So you've got these beautiful like landscaping watercolor images on one side, and I'll just try to flip them over and show you on the back. You get all these really vibrant, beautiful watercolor backgrounds that will offer you a lot of color vibrancy for your projects. So let me just kind of crowd it back in here. So I used the piece that I used that you'll have in your kit. In this package of paper is $12.50, 48 sheets, 6x6. So this is the piece of paper that I used in this particular kit, and it's cut in 3x3 sections. So you could have this little quadrant here, you could have this one, you might have this one, or you might have these two trees. So just so you know, that's, they all came from one sheet. Now you can use this side, which is what I did in the original example, or you can flip it over and use this side, which is equally as beautiful. I'm going to look at whichever piece I have in my kit, and maybe I'll flip it over and use the back side on this one just to give you an idea of how you can change it up if you would choose to. Okay. All right, let me get out the stamps that I'm going to need. Size. I should have these on the block already, but I did not. So I get that on there, and I think I just use these two. Okay. All right. So your supplies that you have in your kit, let's go over those. So you've got a vanilla envelope, which those have since retired. I think, have a couple more packs in stock, but I do not think those are any longer available. You've got a piece of Blackberry Bliss that is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then you've got a piece of Very Vanilla that is 4 by 5 1/4. And oh, I don't have my. Hang on a second. I do not have my turn piece. Let me look and see if I put it over here. Just a minute. Yep. I inadvertently put it back in with my Mossy Meadow cardstock. Okay, so you've got a piece of Mossy Meadow that is 4 by 5 1/4. You've got a piece of Wild Wheat that is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 square. And then you've got a piece of the designer series paper that's 3 by 3 square. So I might turn it over and use that side to do something different. Then you should have a little piece of Blackberry Bliss that is 5/8 inch wide, and then long, it's 2 inches long. So just a small piece for your greeting. And then I have gone ahead and already die cut out these pieces for you. So you will have them in some combination of a petunia pop piece, a wild wheat piece, and a mossy meadow piece, all different stems. So you'll have one of each. They may not be in the color that I have here in the example. So yours might be mossy meadow in this, and this one could be petal or petunia pop. So they will be all three colors, but could be a different configuration depending on how I ran them through. So I felt like any representation of these three colors on the project worked well. So I hope that you'll agree and hope you'll be happy with the results that you have too. So I'm just going to put those dies back in here. So I've got those out of the way. And on my mossy meadow, you can see that I went ahead and embossed that. So you can see that texture of the embossing folder. Yeah, so you can see that it's like more defined in some areas. Would probably help if I flip it over a little bit more. This is more the embossed side, but it gives you that beautiful fern texture, which I felt was very complimentary to this suite of products. And I'm also going to use the bow jig to make the little bow here with the twine, which I'm going to use the crumb cake color out of there. You get a smoky slate, a black one, white one, crumb cake, and something more like a vanilla. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do our stamping. So I'm going to take by folding my card base in half on that score line and just flattening that with the bone folder. Wrap a piece of scrap paper so I can do a little stamping here. So because we're using our white craft pad, that ink takes a little bit longer to dry. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that first. And I'm just going to use the Thinking of You Fondly. There are also other greetings in here which you may find you could use as well. I did Thinking of You Fondly. The I appreciate you could be anything, any note of gratitude. So you could use either or. There are also some other sentiments. These two, of course, are smaller and would fit on there. The dearest friend and then You Make Life Better were a little bigger for this particular strip. So I went with the Thinking of You Fondly. I'm just going to ink that up and stamp that on my Blackberry Bliss. And just going to clean this off with my chamois. And we'll go ahead and close that white craft ink. Then we're going to come in with our envelope. We'll set this aside to dry. And our very vanilla piece. And we're going to do a little stamping. So I'm going to put a couple stems. I'm going to do first generation and drop it down a little bit and do a second generation to get a nice contrast in color. And I'm going to do that same thing on my envelope. First and second to get a nice contrast. So got that cleaned off. And that is all the stamping we're going to do with the images. So we've got these ready to go. Then I'm going to bring in my wild wheat. And let me grab my scissors. So on the texture of my card, the example, let me show you this. You can see, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but see how it's kind of a bit textured there around there? I did that by using my scissors. So you don't want to use like your a good pair of scissors. In fact, I probably shouldn't be using my paper snips. Let me grab another one today that I use for every day. You want something that's a little bit more robust. I'm gonna grab these. A little bit more robust. And you're just going to take and go back and forth with your scissors. And kind of just stress that a little bit. So I'm just working that with my scissors, going around. We used to have a little tool, a distressing tool. It came with like a rotary cutter, a distressing tool, a perforating tool, and something else. It'd be great if Stampin' Up! Came back with something like that. Um, Sometimes things in stamping world are kind of cyclical and that they're there and they go away for a while and then they come back. So maybe Stampin' Up! Will bring them back. I really have no control over that. So, you know, who knows? Okay. So I've just distressed that a bit to give it a little texture around the edge. Now I've got some paper fibers there, so I'm gonna shimmy that off into the trash. All right, so we are ready to kind of start assembling our card. I've got my distress piece, everything is stamped. I'm gonna come back in here with my Tombow liquid glue and put some on that fern piece and layer that on the Blackberry Bliss. This color contrast gives this card just such a rich color offering with this paper and everything. Um, and then let me think. So I'm debating. I'm like, do I want to keep the tree on there and do the tree? Or do I want to flip it over and do this? I do kind of like the tree, but this is really nice too. Let me kind of let me play a little bit here. Let me just think. Oh, this might look. What do I do with my this? It's like I know I stamped a greeting. I don't want to do with it. I'm thinking. I'm just kind of placing this. Hmm. I, I kind of like it that way. Let me flip it over again here and just try. I kind of would flip this like that. I actually think I'm going to go with just like the watercolor muted side instead of the tree. I think either one would look nice, but I'm going to change it up so that you can see them with both sides of the paper. So you can make that choice for yourself. I know it's so sad to like just cover over that tree, but we're going to change this up a little bit. The great thing is because all the colors are represented on both sides, so you really can't go wrong. And then I'm going to drop this down a little bit right there on. And let me go ahead and put in my inside layer. The temperatures are warming up here in Ohio, are they not? We are like in the midst of a heat wave. That is for sure. I've got my merging the old with the new card class coming up here this week on Wednesday. So I'm very much looking forward to that. We will be in the paper sunshine barn, as I've so affectionately named it, even though it's Roger's creative workspace. He shares it. So let's see. I'm looking how I want to layer these, kind of just playing with the placement, whether I want that olive right next to the, yeah, I think I want to go with that. So what I'm going to do, and you can do this either way, you can take and do the liquid glue and tuck it behind your label. I'm actually just going to put a little adhesive right there on my project. Get it off my finger. And I'm going to place both of these on here. And then come in and put the mustard color one in there. Oh, I really, really like these pieces. And then I'm going to put my greeting on with some dimensionals. Let me grab them. My yeah, that. And I'm gonna just a little bit instead, so that way I can get that nice cluster of like green grass in there. Okay, done with our liquid glue. I'm gonna need some glue dots. So let me grab those. I have tons of glue dots, always, always, always from Paper Pumpkin Kits. So this is my bow jig, and my husband Roger made this for me. It's a great way to get a bow. Like I've got an example here. You see how that bow has two loops on it, and then just, or it has, well, four loops, and then just two little ties. I'm going to show you how you can make those kind of bows on this bow jig. So I'm going to have like a 3-inch piece, like a tail that I'm going to hold here, come around the back of the two nails, wrap it around once and twice. Okay. Then I'm going to cross those two pieces, take the tail that I had and come up and under. So I'm coming up, going over it, and then through. And then I'm gonna take my nails. I need to get my nails cut. They are just getting a little long. I need to, okay, give that a tight tie there. Okay. So I'm gonna tie that in a knot. Just take out my nails and grab my scissors. Off. Get this out of the way. So then I've got this, oh, oops, there you go, with the four little loops on it and just two tails. I just like when you're using like a little fiber like that, I like the double bow because I feel like it just gives it a little extra something, but it's not overpowering. I'm going to put that right on the corner there. And dots are a little tinier than our dots that come in on the roll, the traditional mini glue dots. I might need to get my, take your pick tool and get those little tabs off there. I'm just going to take and put my little bow right on those mini glue dots. Okay, that's our first project. So we've got that project here. This was my original design. So similar, I kept the positioning of the 3x3 square the same, but I used the flip side of the paper. So this is the same paper, but one, each side. And then I decided to push up my die cut greenery pieces up a little bit so I could highlight this cluster of the grass there and just reposition my greeting. So just by changing up those little things. And again, like on this one, my larger green is in the mossy meadow and I just have a little sprig of the petunia pop. And the wild wheat, or this one, the petunia pop is my larger color, but it's pulled in from the designer series paper. So I think either way works well. Okay, let me clean these supplies up. And I'm going to grab another project here. So let me put this that up there so we've got it for the end of the video. And actually, I should just be able to move all this out of my way and grab the next one. So that was easy enough. I'll leave the scissors there. Getting a drink of my water. Look at this coaster that my husband made me out of a what do I say? A little tree, a piece of tree. Anyway, he sanded it and stained it and everything, made me like a coaster for my dip Gary, which I think is super cool. He's getting so handy with all his woodworking. Okay. All right, our next project. So this is the next project I'm going to share with you. A simple card showcasing our embossing folders and some designer series paper and a new punch. So I will share with you what we're using on this card. So we're using Moody Mauve, which is one of our in colors that came out last year. We're using the Wildflower Designs. Um, this also has a set of dies with it. Let me just find it in the catalog to show you because I didn't grab the dies. It is. So it's called Wildly Flowering. It's a suite of products, and you have the Wildflower Designs paper. Or, oh my goodness, I'm trying to grab these embellishments at the same time. Wildflower Designs stamp set, which I think is beautiful. I love the imageries in here and the font as well as the sentiments on this stamp set. Then we have the um, Dashing Designs 3D embossing folder, which is really, really neat. Love that. So we're going to use that. Also in this suite of products is the, let's see, what are these called? Adhesive back texture dots. These are brand new. I haven't even used them yet. And I don't know. There you go. You can see the texture on them. So they've got some texture to them, but they're flat. So they're going to mail really nicely in 2 different sizes. And then you've got the Wildflower Designs die cuts, which these ones punch out the images in the stamp set, and then these are just some fun labels and frames, border pieces. Really beautiful. We're going to use those, I think, in the Fun Folds class coming up in July. I think I've been doing so many different projects that it could be another class, but we're definitely going to be using those. And then, of course, the Wildly Flowering Designer Series paper, which is beautiful. And I've got that. We're going to take a closer look. So you can find that suite of products on page 40 and 41 in the catalog. Now, keep in mind, these bundles that I'm showing you with the stamp set and dies, during the month of June, all the stamp sets and die sets, like the bundles that are bundled together in the catalog, or if they're offered in an online exclusive in a bundle, they are currently an additional 10% off. So this bundle is $47.50. So you're going to get another $4.75 off of that. Normally it's $53. So what would that make it, like $2 and no, not $2. Um, another 475 off of that. It's going to be like 325 maybe, something like that. So 43.25. So you're getting like a $10 savings. It ends up being like 20% off if you were to buy them individually. So that's only during the month of June. And sorry, my math skills there were probably really terrible. I don't quote me on that price because I was just kind of trying to do it in my head. And it's hot, so like I can't take any credit for the improper adding. I mean, I can, but you're with me here. Okay, so let me get the stamp set out of the way and show you this paper. So this is the pattern that we're using. This is what's on the back side, a larger, more like a bolder images. Then we've got this blue here, which this is on the back. It's like a canvas type cloth texture is what it looks like to me. This is the next pattern, and you've got this beautiful blue misty moonlight color with just some imagery of what appears to be like this flower from the stamp set. Then you've got that in the wild wheat, and the same thing as you had in the misty moonlight. This is the moody mauve, and the same image in the floral print. Another moody mauve with some different clusters of blossoms. And then you've got a nice wild wheat texture on the back. I'm seeing this wild wheat in all kinds of like interior design stuff. It's really all over the place. And then you've got some, I would say it's like gray granite on the background there, but with the beautiful flowers on the front, kind of decorating that whole side. And then you've got some nice like canvasy texture than it's in the misty moonlight. So really pretty paper. And then I pulled these dots out. These are the adhesive back speckle dots. They were just in the last mini catalog and they were on the clearance rack. So you always check the clearance rack out. You never know what you're going to find there. But I pulled the Moody Mauve ones out. So that is what you will have in your kit. And the supplies that you have in your kit are, of course, your envelope. Then you've got a piece of basic white cardstock. This is our thick basic whites. You're going to notice that's a little heavier, and it's cut 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4.25. Then you've got a piece of Moody Mauve that is 3.5 by 5. You've got a piece of basic white that is 3 by 4.25. Then you've got another piece of Moody Mauve that is 1.5 inches by 4. And I've gone ahead and embossed that for you. And then you've got a strip of the designer series paper that is 3/4 of an inch by 4. You'll also have a die cut. Oh, where's my little punch it? Let's grab that one. Okay. We're also using the Labeled with Love punch. This is a new punch in the catalog. Grab the catalog again. And let me see if I can locate it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to locate this. Okay. I just do not have my game on when it comes to this new catalog 58. Okay. So you're going to notice in the catalog something new this year that Stampin' Up! Has done. So I ordered the Labeled with Love punch, which is this one right here, in the catalog. But you can see if you like dies more than you like punches, you can order a set of 3 dies, okay? 3 dies, the same size, same shape, everything's the same as the punch does, but only it's 3 dies that you can die cut 3 at the same time. So totally your preference, and they're the same price. Same with this keeping tabs die and punch. There's a punch that punches that tab out, but there's also a die that does the same thing. Now in this case, the punch is 23. The die is only 12 because on this one you just get the 1 die, where on the Label with Love dice, you're getting a pack of 3, all the same size. So totally your choice. And that's on page 58 in the catalog, if you have interest in that. So you've got a Moody Mauve one already punched out for you. And then I need to grab a scrap of white. Literally a scrap. So I'm going to use that to stamp my greeting on. Okay, so this piece here, like I said, I've already embossed that for you, and I did so using the Dashing Designs 3D folder. All right, so what you're going to want to do is take your slide cutter or whatever little cutter that you have, and you're going to want to die cut this, or you're going to want to cut this so that you have an inch strip, and then it'll leave a 1/2 inch strip. So I'm going to put this on my 1 inch mark, hold that place, and cut a 1/2 inch strip. I did not go ahead and do that. You'll just need to do that on your own, and you can use whatever cutter you have to accomplish that. Or not stamping on, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take my cord stock base and fold that in half. Grab my bone folder and flatten that crease. All right, we're gonna do a little stamping. So I'm gonna grab this blossom. And this is a red rubber cling stamp set. And I'm going to use the You've Been on My Mind. Okay. Grab my little paper here. We're going to come in and do a little stamping. I'm going to ink that up and stamp on the inside of my card. Kind of like what I did with the last card where you've got the first and second generation stamping. We're going to do that same thing on the envelope to just give that nice contrast of color. And that's all I'm going to do for that one. Clean off my stamp here. And then I'm going to come in with a scrap of white and ink up my greeting. stamp that down. I just love that font. I think it's so delicate, really pretty, but it's, bold enough to read. It's not so delicate that you're like, what does it say? Um, but everything's stamped, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut that in. Then I'm gonna take my label with love punch and insert my stamped cardstock. And just, I'm doing it upside down, so I'm thinking that it looks centered and good. We'll give it a try. Yep, looks pretty good. Okay. All right, so I've got my labeled piece. I'm gonna come back in and build my panel. So you can lay this out any way you'd like. I chose to do it like so that it was a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and an inch, kind of like in succession like that. Let's see. Determine what side you want to put the glue on. And I like to just kind of set it in place a little bit and not press it down until I've got all the pieces on there. So I always prefer to just do my end pieces first and then put my center in there so I can kind of split the difference. That's what works well for me. You do what works best for you. And I like the placement that those have. So I'm just going to flip it over and kind of press down, get those all in place. And with my card base, put a little adhesive on my Moody Mauve. I know most of you, you're probably like, Christine, I can't believe you didn't cut this shape out of there. I know. Tell me about it. I can't believe I didn't either. I really should have, because that's my thing. I love punching and cutting, die cutting out of things. I totally should have done that. Look, I could have done in the center. Oh well, it's okay. If you like, you go ahead and punch something out of the center of that. You just go ahead and do that yourself for sure. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on this. I'm going to do 5 so we can have like good stability on the corners. And then in the center, so I don't have any saggy centers on our cards. And just center that. So all these panels, I'm just kind of centering within each other. And then, so I've got this label in here. I wanted to kind of just, for you to be able to have a contrast. I just liked it like that and not coming out on the other side. So for myself, I'm just going to cut it in half. And I'm going to put a little adhesive on the back side. And then, I'm sorry, I was working off camera here. So I've cut it in half and I'm just putting a little bit to tuck some color out on the side so it'll peek out the side and putting it on like that. I just wanted something a little different there. So because this is up on dimensionals, I'm going to put adhesive, like my regular liquid adhesive on the white side. And I'm going to grab a piece of dimensional here. Put this just on the edge of my tag, that Moody Mauve tag piece, so that when it's hanging over here, it'll have some support. And I'll put that up there. You want to keep in mind you don't want to go over because that's at the fold of your card. So you want to still be able to get your card in the envelope. So I'm just going to go to the edge there. And where are my embellishments? Where did they go? Okay, I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. And some of you actually might already have these embellishments because they were hugely popular in the catalog. And I'm just going to grab some embellishments and put a few on my card. So just do some little ones too. And there. And another one. And we'll bring this one, oh, right there. Okay. Grab my envelope here and bring that back in. So there's our completed project. I love just the nice contrast between the moody mauve and the white. It's just such a just simple, clean look to it. And that's our finished project. Okay, let me just clear these things off the way here. Get all my pieces of all my tools and all the bits. Just grab these and I'll get my other supplies. Okay, so we're gonna have, oops, let me get this guy out of the way. We're going to bring this Label with Love punch back into the mix. And all right, we've got all kinds of goodies here. All right, let me share with you what we've got. So on this project, let me give you a close look at what we're doing. So I actually made this project into a Father's Day card. I made it for Roger for Father's Day, but I chose to make it into, I'm going to make it into a birthday card because I think it makes a great masculine birthday card as well. So I did Happy Father's Day, but we're going to do a birthday one. It's got some great masculine textures for the DSP and the blues. We've done some embossing around here. We've used that punch again in a different way. We're going to use the enamel effects. And then there's a note in here, but I'll save you the closer look at that. That's for my husband. Okay. All right, so we are using the pearlized enamel effects. This particular package comes with the black, the white, and the red. We're going to use the black. This is a great way to make some masculine embellishments if you just don't have anything like on hand. And we're going to use that with the silicone mat. That's necessary for this particular technique. We're using the exposed brick embossing folder, which is the 3D one. Again, the Labeled with Love punch. So we've got that coming back at you. The Night of Navy ink. And then the stamp set that I grabbed was the Unabound Love. So this one has some beautiful, larger just words and some sentiments, and then some little smaller fonts that go along and complement the words as well. I think this is a great stamp set with the versatility and all the offerings that are in it as far as sentiments. And I do like the fonts too. So I like when they mix them, like they have like the traditional type and then like a handwriting one. So I have grabbed the Happy Birthday out of the stamp set. This is also bundled together in the catalog. Let me find it for you. Just give you a closer look. Here we go. So this is the suite of products. So we're using this in a very masculine way, but it comes with the colors in this suite of products is all very like pastel-y and bright. And here we go. So this is the stamp set that we're using, the Unabound Love, and it comes with the Unabound dies. You can get them bundled together for a 10% savings, but actually this month it can be 20% because you'll get an additional 10% off. Then there's also another bundle in this particular suite of products, the Flowers of Beauty, that comes with both stamp set and then the dies. That too is on sale. The resin dots, the in color resin dots are part of this suite of products. The glimmer paper in the in colors. And then you have the Unabounded Beauty Designer Series paper, which is a 12 by 12 paper. So all really pretty products, and you can find those on page 54 in the catalog. All right, those aside. All right, so let me share with you the supplies that we have. So you've got your envelope, white envelope. You've got a piece of Night of Navy cardstock that's 5.5 by 8.5 and is scored at 4 1/4. You've got a piece of basic white that's 4 by 5 1/4. You've got it. See, on look on this one, I punched out the label that we need. You've got a piece of smoky slate, and this is cut 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we're going to have a very little slim margin of blue coming around a border. So this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Then you've got two pieces of designer series paper. One is 2 inches by 5 3/8. And that's kind of a texture fabric, kind of textile paper. This one's kind of, I don't know, just it has a different texture to it with the misty moonlight and the night of navy. And this one is 2 3/4 by 4. And then you've got two punch outs from the Labeled with Love punch. I've got one in Night of Navy and Smoky Slate. And that's everything. That's all of our pieces. So I'm going to show you how I made the embellishments here. So we're going to do that. So you can see, let me take these out. I'm going to put them on my finger there. I should have just used my take your pick tool, but I didn't know. So I've got these cool metallic embellishments that I made myself that were actually liquid at one time. I'm just going to take those out. And this is how I did it. So I used my pearlized enamel effects, and this is the black. And I took and just squeezed out some little dots of this adhesive. Okay, so I'll just do several here. When I'm making them, I just do a bunch because then they're just going to sit and dry, and then I'll have embellishments. So we'll just go ahead and do that amount. And oh, I don't know if you can really see them. So see, they're like little liquidy dots. Okay. So after I make those, if you like that size, go ahead and just leave them. Just let them set and dry on the silicone mat. I like them a little bit wider and flatter. So I just give my silicone mat a little bit of smack on the on my working surface, just that. And then it flattens them out a little bit. So they get a little wider and a little flatter. I don't know if you can see, they're just a little flatter. So I like that. That's what I do. You can do whatever you'd like. So basically I'm just going to let this sit aside in a couple, I don't know, maybe a couple hours, maybe even an hour. I've never really timed it. I just make a bunch and let them set aside. So I'll leave those on the silicone mat. That is important though. You need to do them on a silicone mat. It does not work on like the wax paper and parchment paper. You're not going to be happy with the results. So definitely, if you want to try this technique, make sure you have that mat. I did do it on some of the red and made like little hearts. Made little embellishment hearts. So that was something fun I was just practicing with. When you're doing the pearlized white, you can color them with your blends. So that's kind of cool too. All right, so we'll set those aside. And this one is like simple, so simple because we are just going to stamp our greeting. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to use a happy birthday one. And this is a great guy card. To stamp that down. Okay. Easy peasy. Done with the ink. Clean that off. All right, so my smoky slate cardstock, I have already embossed that with the exposed brick embossing folder, which you can see the texture on here. So that's already done. So we are ready to like put this baby together. So I'm going to go ahead and fold my cardstock. Flatten that crease with my bone folder. And let's get some adhesive on our exposed brick embossed piece. And oh, wait a minute. So do take note, put your die cut, your side that I punched out on, put that to the left of the card. Because you want to make sure you cover it then with this designer series paper. So do keep that in mind. If you end up putting it over here, just reverse the designer series paper and put it on the other side. No one's going to see my example, so it's not no big deal. So I'm going to leave about a 1/2 inch gap on the left and place my designer series paper down. And then I'm going to take my second page, or the second piece of the designer series paper, and put that on with about a 1/2 inch gap over here. Okay. And then I've got that white layer for the inside. And then just put that in. Okay. And then for this one, where the last project, we just kind of cut the tab in half. You know, we went this way. I'm going to take it and go a long ways. Okay. Then I'm going to put a little adhesive on the back side of the upper and lower portion of my label. And using the liquid glue is going to allow me a little bit of room to kind of play with where I want to put this. So what I'm doing is just leaving a little bit of a layer there. So I'm fastening it on the back. I'm going to do that same thing on the lower side of it. Now for me, there is just a slight little overlay right here, and I just want to trim that. But it's so slight that you might not even notice it, or even it's not going to bother you. But for me, I just wanted to trim them. Same over here. No big deal either way. You can do it however you prefer. Okay, so I've got my two pieces on there. It's giving me a nice layer of contrast of color. And then I'm going to come in with some dimensionals. I'm going to put 1, 2, and we'll do 3. Okay. And then I'm going to place that right about there in the center. So then I want to put my dots on that I made, my little embellishments. So I'm going to use some of these glue dots from my paper pumpkin kit. And just put them, just gonna kind of place them where I want to, as far as like where I'm gonna want the embellishments. And then I'll take my little take your pick tool, get those little paper tabs off. I find this a little easier, but if you prefer to put like the liquid adhesive down and then push the dots on, go right ahead. Then I'm gonna pick that up with my take your pick tool and then just press it in place. Flip those over so I can get the rounded part. Put that in place. And same with the last one. So on this, there's our card all done. There's my little sliver that I trimmed off. On this envelope, since we didn't do any stamping necessarily with images, I went ahead and took the brick embossing folder and embossed the back side of it with a brick texture. I felt like that looked nice and masculine. I like the feel to that shirt. So there is our third project. You can't really see that envelope on the white paper here. So let me grab our other cards here. So we've got this one and then this one. All right, I've got all my mess here. Okay. All right, so that is our 3 projects that I have to share with you today. I hope that they have provided you with some creative inspiration, that you've got some good ideas, different tips that you maybe haven't tried before, something new that you can try, whether it's color combination, a layout, just a way to use your products. Again, this is the current host code. And that is my online store. So you can see there's tons of online exclusives. There'll be more released in July. There is a beautiful, let me look here, flyer. Yeah. Let me look here and show you. There's a beautiful Expressions of Kindness kit that just was released here in June. And I'm going to go kind of closer. It's so hard to kind of see that. But if you like the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper, you're going to love Love this kit. I have it on order and it's en route. Like it should be being shipped out, if not already being shipped to me. But it has, it's an all-inclusive stamp set, comes with a block and everything, a block, a stamp spot, a whole spool of ribbon, your embellishments, your glue dots, um, dimensionals, the envelopes, an ephemera pack. Like it's packed full. It makes a total of 8 cards, but you'll have extra supplies. And I always take, like, these cards are they've got this designer series paper on front and back. I cut them in half and I actually double the amount of cards that you can make out of a kit. So this one's supposed to make 8. I usually make 16, if not more. Because sometimes the envelopes are so pretty that I cut them up for designer series paper. I mean, this kit is just stunning. So if you have interest in this one, it's called Expressions in Kindness. Just put that in the search bar, or email me and tell me that's what you'd like. And it's a $23 kit. Then the Scenic Route Journal, a travel journal kit. This is great for summer travel. It's got everything that you need to create a little journal scrapbook. So that's a nice little kit too. It's I think I mentioned it's $22. It does not have stamps in it. It has like an ephemera pack where it's like die cuts and alphabets and sentiments and images and things like that that you can put to decorate your kit. I think I said ephemera. It's easy for me to say, ephemera pack. Sorry. And then looking ahead for Paper Pumpkin, we've got a new Painted Petals kit coming out in July, and that's a 9-card kit. So that's going to be fun. Already, I love the colors that I'm seeing on that box. So that tells me I'm definitely going to love that kit with the images and the flowers there too. August, there is a birthday time kit coming, and you get a bonus stamp set in that one, and it's showing numbers, so I'm thinking it has to be a set of numbers and like little doodad images where you could like customize the birthday um, that you might be celebrating for someone. Then coming up in September, there is an autumn abundance, so this one is definitely going to have some fall imagery, and it's a 9-card kit. And there is an add-on die set that is available to go along with these 3 kits. That's something that you can get as extra as a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. So you can do Paper Pumpkin on a monthly basis, or you can do a prepaid subscription, anywhere from 1, 3, 6, 9, or 12 months. So ordering a prepaid subscription of the larger amounts, I think a 6-month and a 12-month, will get you hostess benefits too. So you get a little bit back free with that. You can, you know, order a prepaid thing and just get some hostess benefits on the side if you were doing an individual order. So okay, that is all I've got to share with you today. Thank you so much for joining me for this stamping. I hope these projects inspired you. And if you have any questions, as always, reach out and take a little time to do a little bit of stamping with your and take your creativity, work it into some paper sunshine, and send it along to brighten somebody's day. We are having tons of sunshine right now, but it is hot outside, so it is good to just stay in and stamp, stay cool. So, all right, until next time, happy stamping. Bye-bye.